One of the worst parts of becoming an adult, by far, is having to organize your own dental appointments. And the reason that sucks is the same reason reps don't take on the feedback that you're trying to give them. The concept is called limbic friction. And the problem is our brain doesn't like too many steps, and oftentimes it'll need to know the timing of something before you can actually do it. In other words, the reason the reps aren't using your advice or your staff aren't using your advice is because they don't understand the timing or they don't understand the steps involved in what you're asking of them. Pretty simple, right? Awesome. So the tab would basically explain. You got to give them the really clear steps and get the buy-in on the why and why it's important, right? The next step is show. You've got to be able to show them exactly how you want them to implement it, whether it's steps, but more importantly, the timing of how you want them to implement that skill, right? So let's go, for example, let's say that you're teaching someone tonality and how to make sure that when they're talking to someone, they sound passionate about what they're talking about, right? So if I was listening into someone's pitch and I noticed they had pretty bad tonality, they sounded pretty indifferent, they didn't seem passionate about what they're talking about, what I'd want to do, I've explained the why, I've got them bought into it, and now what I'd want to do is show them exactly what I'm talking about. So maybe when I'm talking about the problems of when I'm pitching someone, I'm making sure that sounds really bad and sad, and I'm making sure my emotions are like this. And then when I'm talking about the good stuff, I'm raising my tonality, I'm increasing my energy, and I'm sounding excited when I'm talking to that customer. I'm going to give them this example, and I'm going to show them how I sound and show them how to actually implement the skill that I'm trying to teach them, right? A reverse to that, and something actually kind of fun to do sometimes, is actually show them what they look like when they're doing the skill. I've done this previously with sales staff, right? If they are, sounding quite indifferent, I'll give them an example. I'll go, awesome, I'll get you to pretend you're the customer for a second. I'm going to show you what it currently looks like, right? And I'm gonna, kind of talk about how good our products are and just talk really indifferently and be like, awesome, yeah, this is great. And show them exactly that's how they look when they're talking to customers, right? So again, they can't implement something if they don't understand the steps or the timing, and that's on you to teach them. Now the last part is watch. And ideally you want to do this in a safe environment, but you want to give them an opportunity to show you them implementing that skills, right? So maybe you are listening into a few calls, right? What you're going to do is you're going to show them how you're going to do it and then go, awesome, all right, you're going to take this next one. And then as they're implementing the skill, you're going to listen in on how they're talking over the phone, for example, and making sure that they're implementing that skill appropriately. Now, the secret here is we don't want to neg them out. We don't want to tell them they're doing everything wrong and they need to start again, right? We want to make sure that we're positively reinforcing what they're doing, making sure that we're building them up and picking the parts where we are seeing incremental improvements and really making a massive deal out of that, right? Because that's how we build that confidence and that's how we get them excited to do more and more of what we're showing them. And that's the idea. We want to congratulate them when they're doing the things that we want to see more of, right? And if we're following this process properly of explaining it, the timing, showing them actually how to do it, and then watching and congratulating them and watching them until they get it right, you're going to have a much better chance of them implementing those skills when you're not around.